In a small town in the southern United States, in Mississippi, there was a young man named Robert Johnson. He was a simple musician who dreamed of becoming a great blues player. Every evening, he would gather around a campfire with other locals and play his old guitar. However, his music, although filled with soulful sincerity, did not attract much attention. No one noticed his talent. Robert felt lost in this world, full of ambition and dreams. One day, when the stars were shining brightly in the sky, Robert heard an old man in a bar tell a legend about a mysterious crossroads where, according to rumors, a mysterious man offered a deal: talent in exchange for a soul. This story ignited a spark of hope within him. He knew that his music was worth more, and he decided to travel to the crossroads on a full moon. As night fell over the town, Robert left his house and made his way to the old crossroads where the roads met under the moonlight. His heart was racing with excitement and fear. He stood there for a long time, listening to the sounds of the night, when he felt a cold breeze and saw a figure emerging from the shadows of the trees. It was a tall man in a black cloak with a mysterious smile on his face. His eyes glowed like embers in a fire. "Are you seeking fame, boy?" he said in a soft voice that sounded like the whisper of the wind. Robert nodded, his voice lost in excitement. The stranger continued, "I can give you the talent you desire, but in return you must give me your soul." Robert hesitated. Thoughts of fame and success filled his mind, but the fear of losing his soul kept him on edge. However, his desire to become a great musician overcame his doubts. He agreed to the deal. From that moment on, his life changed. That same night, he returned home and began playing the guitar. The music that flowed from his hands was nothing short of divine. Each note sounded like a spell, filling the hearts of his listeners with both joy and sorrow. As his popularity grew, he soon became known throughout the South, with his performances attracting crowds. But fame had its price. Robert began to notice strange things. Shadows followed him at night, and a mysterious man in black appeared in his dreams. His music became increasingly dark and unsettling, reflecting his inner struggle. He felt that the more he played, the more his soul was slipping away from him. One night, while he was performing at a big concert in a nearby city, he suddenly saw the stranger in the crowd. Fear gripped him, and he lost his rhythm. The music stopped sounding as beautiful as before. People began to leave the concert, dissatisfied with his performance. Robert desperately tried to regain the magic of his music, but to no avail. After this performance, he returned home with a heavy heart. He realized that his deal was not just an exchange, it was a curse. He could not shed the burden of his soul, and his music became his prison. He began to search for ways to escape this burden, reading books on witchcraft and consulting with wise men, but to no avail. One day, he met an old woman who knew about his deal. She told him, "You must find that crossroads again and return what you took." Robert gathered his strength and went back to the crossroads on the same full moon night. When he arrived, the moon was shining brightly and the wind was howling through the trees. He saw the same man in the black cloak again. "Have you returned?" the stranger asked with a smirk. Robert felt a surge of determination. "I want my soul back." The stranger laughed. "Do you think you can just take it back? You must play one last song for me." Robert agreed, although he was filled with doubts. He started playing his guitar. The melody was full of passion and pain, reflecting all the sufferings and joys of his life. Music filled the air around them, creating an atmosphere of magic and tension. Suddenly, the stranger froze, his face became serious. When the last note died away, Robert felt relieved. It seemed that he was able to regain what he had lost. But the stranger just grinned. "You can't just walk away from your deal. Now you have to pay the price." At that moment, Robert realized the depth of his choice. He was ready for the consequences. For the sake of his music and freedom, he was ready to risk everything. Suddenly, the shadows around him began to thicken, and he felt a cold wind. The legend of Robert Johnson has remained in people's memory for many generations. They say that sometimes you can hear his music in the silence of the night, Melodies full of fear and sadness that remind you that sometimes you have to pay too high a price for fame. His story serves as a warning to those who dream of greatness without considering the consequences of their actions.